Girl, 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 girl. They have been lying to you about pregnancy. But I'm going to keep it 99 plus one. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about pregnancy so you can decide for yourself if this is something that you actually want to do. And if it is, go ahead, dive right on in. But if it isn't, check up the deuces and walk your little booty batootie right on out. These are the essentials of what you need to know and the truth, the real deal Holyfield about pregnancy. Let's get it. Okay, let's talk about this whole morning sickness thing, right? Because it's morning sickness, right? Morning sickness sounds like something that's in the morning. That's a lie. No, 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 no. Now, if you're one of those people who are blessed, right? You was God said, God, they blessed you. You was touched by God, and you didn't have to have morning sickness. But look, this pregnancy thing is probably not going to be that bad. You a lot manageable, right? But if you're like me and you wasn't, and like most people, you're gonna have a version of morning sickness. But what I need you to know is that morning sickness is not just in the morning. That is a lie. You know how this a lie. The devil is a lie. The morning sickness is all day long. All day. All day. Wake up sick. Eat sick. Nap sick. Afternoon sick. Nighttime sick. It's a mess. And so my whole first trimester, I was literally god awful sick. Now, mind you, some of that is because I didn't know what I was doing. And if I would have took the right prenatal, check out Rooted, link in the description below. If I would have took that, if I would have been eating on a consecutive basis, and if I would have been drinking water and taking my naps, all those four things, then I probably would have had way less morning sickness in the first trimester, but I still might have had it. Because it's literally just a process of getting pregnant. It's your body is being thrown off like a complete tornado is in there just cutting up. So you just have morning sickness. So if you don't want that, don't get pregnant. The next thing is you about to be tired. Not just tired, not just tired, but tired. Tired. Because it's literally going to take the life out of you. Story time, right? Okay, so the day that I found out I was pregnant, I mean, when I tell you I was out here, I was dipping and doing, I was running, I was jogging, I was doing like 2 miles every single day. Pow, 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 pow. But body was going pow, 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 pow with the six packs, right? With the pow, 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 pow with the six pack. Pow, 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 pow with the six pack. And then this one day, I went on a jog and it literally felt like I was running 3,400s. If you've never ran a 400 in track, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you have, or if you at least seen it and it looked like you're gonna be tired, that's what it felt like. And I was like, something has to be off. Something's off. Get back home. I'm like, tell my boyfriend, I'm like, yo, I think something's off. I don't know why I'm so tired. I have no idea why I feel like I'm about to pass out. And I was just like, yeah, okay. And to myself, I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. Maybe I'm pregnant or something. Maybe something's off. But I don't really think anything of it. So then I go in the bathroom, got a pregnancy test. I literally, here's how you know I didn't think anything of it. Like, because when you think something, you're waiting there. You're looking at the pregnancy test like, oh, I wasn't doing any of that, right? I literally took the pregnancy test, I popped it on the sink, and then I hopped in the shower. I took the pregnancy test as a matter of elimination because I'm thinking, like, all right, I'm tripping, I'm just tired, I'm about to get my period, whatever, right? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I got out of the shower. I literally got dressed. I didn't even look at it. I got dressed. I'm lotioned up, all that. Walk out, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot to look at the test. Go back, look at the test. Sure enough, it says I'm pregnant. And I said, hold up. Anyway, god awful tired. My first trimester, I was taking 4 naps a day. Mind you, I still have to work. So how is this houseway? How are you gonna do 4 naps a day and working from home? I was doing work, taking a nap, do work, taking a nap, do work, taking a nap, and then you could forget working out. That didn't happen. Shoo, that just flew right on out, right? So if you don't want to be tired, then you probably shouldn't get pregnant. And mind you, it got better. By the time you're in the second trimester, that gets better. And third trimester, you're tired, but you just like, you kind of get used to it. That's probably the best way to say it. And then you get your diet under control and like, it gets better. But that first trimester, it feels like you've been in a fight all my life. I had to. The wild stuff, that's just what's happening next. The next thing that happens is these appetite changes. Now, everybody talks about craving, like wanting to have food and like all that stuff. Like, yeah, that's the fun part. Like, I remember one day I wanted to have donuts, Cheesecake Factory. I had a chicken sandwich, I had Cheesecake Factory, I had donuts and a smoothie all on the same day. My mom looked at me like insane. She was like, excuse me. We're talking about the person who used to eat twice a day, if that. And it was straight protein. No snacks, no nothing, just boom. Like, and then I went from that to this. That's crazy, right? So I guess that's kind of like the fun portion of it. Everybody kind of talks about that, but they don't talk about is the appetite change that literally needs to take place. I was so god awful sick in my first trimester because I didn't know at the time that I couldn't hold down chicken because I didn't do the elimination diet. You have to do the elimination diet. If you start throwing up something, you have to stop eating that something immediately. Stop eating that. Don't eat that the next day. Switch to something else, some other type of meat or fish or whatever it is, and see if you can hold that down. If I would have did that, then I wouldn't have kept throwing up the chicken. But because chicken was literally all I ate, dang near, prior to me getting pregnant, I kept eating chicken. I kept eating different types of chicken. It didn't matter. I just was throwing it up and throwing it up and throwing it up. So that was insane. Absolutely insane. There was nothing I could do about that. It was like, the only thing I could have did was catch it earlier. And then I literally ended up eating ground turkey and fish for the rest of the, like, what was it, 9 months? Yeah. So if you're okay with your whole diet changing, get pregnant. This portion, everybody doesn't talk about it. I had the craziest heat flashes. I remember one time I was on a Zoom meeting, right? Because I'm work from home on a Zoom meeting, and I think I was with my manager or something. And like when I tell you, like out of nowhere, it took over me like a wave, like, and I literally was sweating ferociously. Like the air was on and everything ferociously. I sweat through my whole outfit. Thank goodness it was on Zoom, because once I got out of that Zoom outfit, I literally had to. I could have just did this. I could have did this and just wrenched out some sweat. That's how hot it was. Because I just had a random heat. Like, nobody talks about heat flashes. Like, what? And that's because your body's just undergoing so many different changes. Temperature changes, like everything is just happening all at one time. Okay. And then on top of all that, you're going to be like literally just bat crazy. Like, like they say like, oh, you're gonna have mood swings. Nah, that doesn't really cover it. You're gonna practically be, probably scientifically be literally bipolar. Like I'm blessed to have an absolutely amazing partner and boyfriend. Like, because the mood swings that I put him through was insane for those times. Like, I mean, absolutely insanity. Like, I can't imagine making it through that. Poor baby, I love him. I really do. I can't describe the amount of emotional changes that I went through. And it's just like, it literally is like you go from like happy to crying in an instant. Like in a random commercial came on and you started crying. That was happy. It was just like, it was just wild. I just like, especially for me, like being like a non-emotional person, to like doing that was crazy. It was like, it was a crazy person. That's what happened. I turned into an absolute crazy person. Even my mom was like, yeah, this is not normal, you. I don't know who she is and why this is happening, but like we could just pack her up in a box and like never see this version of her ever again. And so that's a lot. And then when you're experiencing it, so you don't feel crazy. And then after it happens, you're like, oh yeah, I was, yeah, remember that time I like flipped out over a piece of bread? Like, during the pregnancy, like, oh, my bad. I was crazy. Because of those emotions and your hormones literally just being off, what ends up happening is it innately affects your relationship. And so if you're like me and you're blessed and you have an amazing, emotionally intelligent partner, in my case, a man, right, who is understanding, is excited about you guys having a kid together and like, and all of that, you'll have these ebbs and flows in the relationship throughout the pregnancy, but ultimately you're going to end up on the other side of it and you guys are going to be fine, right? If you're not, right, or even if they just have, need to work on it, right? Yeah, that's going to really affect your relationship. I clearly see how people break up during a pregnancy, like especially if they're really young. Like, oh yeah, it It would be easy. It's actually probably easier to break up during a pregnancy than it is for you to stay together, because it's just so much. It's just so much, so many emotions. But beyond that, like your hormones change as far as like the stuff in the bedroom, all of that changes completely. They talk about females like wanting to have it more. Well, I had the exact opposite experience. I'd like, don't touch me. That's what I felt like the whole time. Don't touch me. I don't, yeah, no. I'm good. I don't want to do any of this. Like, no, no, you could be over there. I could be over here. I still love you. Let's watch a movie, but don't touch me. And that can be a lot on somebody, because they could take it like a referendum on them, and it literally has nothing to do with them. And it's everything to do with the fact that your hormones change, and like everything feels different. Like what's going on down there, what's going on with intimacy, like every little thing is different. So if you don't want to have to be tested in your relationship, and like a lot of young couples, and we just think about celebrity couples, right? They're constantly they get pregnant and then they split apart a few months afterwards. Well, I think they were probably hanging on during that process, and then they split, or maybe they split apart in the pregnancy, and it's just like it's a lot on your relationships. And you have the stress of planning for the baby, like this nursery thing that I got going on back here. Shout out to my mom, interior designer. If you want to check out some really dope interior design, shameless plug, just type in "creating with Mimi" on YouTube. She's gonna pop up. You guys are gonna like her stuff. I promise you. What do they say? Men's words out. I guarantee it. Okay. Anyway, all this planning, and this is just this. Our whole entire house is like different because of all the stuff that we had to put in. Check out the newborn essentials video on the channel where I tell you everything that you actually need to buy. But anyway, all the planning that goes on with the baby. No, I mean, it's just like, it's not just the stuff, right? It's not just the nursery. It's like the hospital, the OBGYN. You need to choose the right one of that. Thinking about the shots. Like, are we going to do vaccines? What vaccines are we going to do? What vaccines are we not going to do? How much money is all this stuff going to cost us? Like, just all of the just whole commotion of planning for the baby to get here is so much stress. Like, and then you stress about stuff that you can't even control. You stress about stuff you're not even gonna really know the answers. You just stress. It's just stress. So the last thing, I mean, they talk about mom guilt all the time, like when the baby gets here, about going back to work and like everything that happens with that. But like the real mom guilt or whatever, like it kicks in prior to it. If you're somebody like me who's a working mom, not just a working mom, an ambitious mom. So outside of work, I have other dreams and ambitions and things that I'm doing, like directing movies and like all of that. Right, the thinking about the maternity leave is like that's stressful in itself. And then depending on what state you're in depends on what you actually get to have. I'm blessed, I'm in California, so ours is pretty good over here, right? But I was thinking about the amount of time that I was going to take off. What I can say that everybody told me, and I didn't get it, right? I didn't get it why, right? However much time they give you and that you can afford to take off the time, it's just going to make sense to take off the time. My mom was right about that, and don't tell her I said that. Just we'll keep that down low. Anyway, take off the time because it's gonna be necessary. And for me, because she had tummy aches and she had all types of stuff going on, I would have just took those 6 weeks off. Yeah, that would have been bad for everybody. I wasn't ready to go back. Like, what we gonna do? Childcare. We wasn't sleeping. Just like all types of stuff. So, however much time you can get off, take off. But like the thought of that, and like, you know, for some people it's still real. Even though legally they're not supposed to be able to fire you for taking off time, for people they still do that. They still like do that. They'll try to sneak and do that. And so, as a mom, that can be a lot. Or maybe you're advancing in your career and you're like, yo, is having the baby gonna stop that advancement? I don't know. We're keeping it 100. There's certain people, it may slow down the progress of what it is that they're trying to achieve in life. At least for me, I had like 4 movie shot. I needed to edit 2 of them, and I thought in my head, silly me, that when maternity leave hit, I was just gonna pop the baby down for a nap and just get back to work, and that just did not happen. This is probably we're 2.5 months in, and I'm just now recording videos. Now, with all of that being said, right, I gave you a whole bunch of reasons that people aren't talking about that you not even probably, you definitely need to consider before you get pregnant. Yeah, but it's still really cool to be a mom. Like, with all that being said, like, there's all the things I didn't know. Would I do it again? Well, if I got my daughter, the one that I have now, yeah, I would do it. I would still do it. It is what it is. And so far, I'm a new mom. it's still been very rewarding, and the bond and the connection that I have with my daughter is amazing. And like I got to hang out with my mom like way more because she's around and she's helping and she's teaching me things and all of that. And then me and my boyfriend, we have family time, and like we sing songs, and like all that stuff is like really cool. And as she continues to get older, I'm still going to be able to like do stuff like I said, 2.5 months is that really that big of a deal? I'm still gonna be able to do more stuff. And thus, if you want to have, all the good that comes with having a baby, then yeah, do it. But I did just want to inform you so that way you knew. And that way you couldn't go through the process and be like, nobody's talking about this. Now, I told you. I told you about the process. So let me know, what other questions do you have about pregnancy, about being a new mom, other videos that you want me to make, maybe some more about my story that you want to hear. Let me know. Hit the like button, sub button, bell button. Like, gotta go.